Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, April 18th. If you didn't get your taxes filed in the United States, the website was down, so you get one extra day. So get it in, filed electronically or post-dated, I suppose today, still might be alright. In the end, I suppose getting it done as quickly as possible is the best move. You can also file for extensions, I guess, if you really wanted to make some mistakes. So what do we have here? Play 30 warlock cards and play 6 weapons. We've got a tavern brawl too, so let's start with that. Let's see what this is. I've got a issue with my ear going on right now, so a lot of pain in my right ear, and it's not helpful to wear headphones like I'm wearing right now. So I'm gonna try and have a shorter experience. Also, in a bigger issue, let's see, every draw is a spell when you really need a minion. Never again. The deck is 30 Raven Idols. Oh man, they've done this one so many times. Well, Warlock cards. Probably won't even play with this, but whatever. The other issue is my internet for the past couple days has just not been working well. And so I'm still sitting on at least a dozen episodes of Darksiders 2. There's probably only about 3 more hours worth of gameplay for doing the DLC content. I did one DLC and it took exactly, well almost exactly an hour and 30 minutes, which effectively what it was one big dungeon separated into 3 smaller dungeons. No real big open world section. It's really strange that you have to go to the main menu to get to the DLC, and it's not just integrated into the main story. Because that would have been a lot nicer, frankly. Let's see. What am I gonna play? I'll do this one, I guess. And I guess we'll do this again. And guess we'll take this. So yeah, in a nice coincidence, I suppose, I am both not really in a good shape to be pre-recording and finishing up Darksiders, even though I'd be very happy to finish up Darksiders and move on to the next thing, since that's been such a extremely long amount of coverage. I'm pretty sure I made this argument, and it was kind of interesting to have Jeff Gersman on Giant Bomb make the exact same argument that the new God of War game feels a lot like Darksiders 2 or Darksiders 1 or the Darksiders 2 that he wished had come out, even though Jeff Gersman says that he learned to appreciate Darksiders 2 in his own way. Honestly, I don't appreciate it as much, I think, as he was implying. So if you're listening to the Momcast, you'll hear him talk about that, although they don't talk about much else, really. They're really down to 1, maybe 2 games a week that they're talking about on the Bombcast, which is crazy. They really need to amp up their production and coverage. There are crazy games out there. There's plenty of Steam games that they could take a look at, and they're just not doing it. Let's see, maybe we can get a spell that would do something. Sure. Do I need to deal 4 damage? I'll take this. And Let's see. Discover another spell. I guess if I get spells, there's a if there's a good chance that it will be a warlock card, which works well for me. Now I'm not gonna play God of War because it's a PlayStation exclusive, and plus I would wanna, if they brought God of War to PC, I'd kind of want to do the first three games. Although, to be fair, this latest God of War probably is the exact right position to start over. I kind of disagree though with the changes. It sounds like they added making it more loot based and RPG based, and more of an open world game. Kind of the new version of what am I trying to say? The newest Assassin's Creed Origins, also did the similar thing. It's built around very much. Let's see. I can discard this card, I don't think. So I'm just gonna summon it. That doesn't really feel like what I'd want in a God of War game, because God of War, for as silly and stupid as its story is, it always kind of has been this hack and slash game, to my understanding. It goes through the story, runs you through the gauntlet of boss battles and large, gigantic monster boss battles, and then you're done. The idea of entering an area and having a bunch of side quests that are wasting your time, particularly with a character like the God of War, who you kind of expect to be the type of person who would not put up with a character telling them to go fetch a certain number of kills, or a certain number of pelts of animals or something. All of that seems like antithetical. And same was true in Darksiders 2, is you're playing as the literal horseman of death, and yet throughout the entire 30 hours of gameplay, you've got people sending you off to kill and hunt specific creatures, which isn't too bad, but it doesn't really make sense either. Like, you're in the middle of this experience where you would most definitely want to just be focused on finishing your job. And that doesn't seem to be like, that doesn't seem like he cares about anything in Darksiders 2 at all. He'll just do whatever anybody tells him to do. Like, he doesn't even care about the loot, unlike like Borderlands as a series, where those characters are obsessed with the guns. They love the guns. When you're in the menu looking at the guns, you're getting audio feedback. It's like, awesome, so cool, great gun type responses. That is their whole economy. Whereas Death in Darksiders 2 doesn't care if he gets a new scythe. Like, as a player, I care because it does more damage, but it never really amounts to anything. That became painfully obvious when I did the DLC, and I went from the easiest mode, which at times was not easy, all the way to the hardest mode, the definitive mode, and it was still pretty easy. So, like, nothing really changes. The system is so built around balancing. But I did say I want this to be a shorter experience, so let's go ahead, and since we really don't have too much of a catch up to do, there's this Filmstruck4. Maybe it was supposed to be #Filmstruck4. I don't know, I copy and pasted it, so it could be somebody misspelled it. That I did on Twitter people pick four. You're supposed to pick 4 movies that influenced you, and then tag 4 other people. Ironically, I intentionally didn't tag anybody, and then Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, tagged 3 people. So, and he explained the rules completely in this message. It says clearly right above where he tagged 3 people that you're supposed to tag 4 people. So maybe he tagged somebody who removed their name from it. I guess that might be what happened, or somebody's profile who's private, or maybe has blocked me for some insane reason. Suppose any of those could be the case. But I didn't tag anybody, and so I did that just for fun. Picked 4 movies that influenced me, and I'll just really quickly cover them since this is not a movie channel at all, and I don't think I would want to ever run a movie criticism channel, because frankly it would just take me too long. 3 or 4 months between certain movies, seeing anything worth mentioning. It's really a job as much as playing video games are a job. The big difference is you're gonna have to do something rather special to make up for all the garbage movies that you're watching, or all the times you don't want to watch movies. So I put them out of order. But chronologically, the first movie, all these movies pushed me out of my mental comfort zone and expanded my horizons, basically. So the first movie is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That was a movie that comes with quite the story, in which I saw it in a bowling alley as my parents were in a bowling league event type thing, which is not something that happens too often these days. And I was either in kindergarten or first grade at the time. So you're talking 5, 6, maybe 7 years old, maybe 8 at the latest. So an 8-year-old should not be watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The Temple of Doom, I believe, was the movie that Steven Spielberg petitioned the ratings board to create PG-13 for. So it didn't get an R rating, but that might have been either the Ark of the Covenant movie, Indiana Jones, or The Last Crusade, too. And Temple of Doom has that very iconic scene of eating insects and monkey brains. There's also scenes of child slavery and abuse, scenes of extreme poverty, scenes of poisoning at the beginning and threatening the main female lead, scenes of a child dangerously driving. Like, you could just go on and on about why Temple of Doom is not appropriate for an 8-year-old to watch. But I was just, the child care services that really didn't know what they were doing decided to put it on, and had kids with me who were possibly, there was a few older, but there was most certainly a lot younger too, all watching this. And so yeah, seeing that insect scene in particular, not the insect scene of the centipedes crawling on the hand, but the bug eating scene in particular, definitely traumatized me and scarred me for life, and pushed me out of my comfort zone. So, I mean, almost certainly that was the first experience in my life where you would have opened your eyes and said, oh, not all entertainment is for kids. Not everything is smiley, happy cartoons. Not everything is okay to watch for every age. That was my first experience of something like that, I imagine. Of course, moving on, the next movie I would say that was hugely influential is gotta be Iria the animation. That's IRIA, and that was one of the very early animations that came on TV, or maybe I saw it via renting a VHS, and it was almost certainly the first anime I ever watched, and it is a sci-fi fighting action anime with a little bit of horrific themes, and certainly that put me opened my eyes to, oh, there can be an even higher level of extremity as far as what can be done in movies. Up until that point, there was certainly a limit in my mind as far as what even was possible in movies. You would see fighting, you would see punching, you'd see gunshots, but you wouldn't see the things that could only be drawn because that was just not something there. And if you're talking like a westernized cartoon, that you're not seeing anything really extreme. Iria, the animation, I believe if you had the uncensored version, it has like a shower scene in it of the main female character, although I suspect that I had the censored version, particularly if I was watching it on Sci-Fi Channel. Also, there's a live action version of it, but it is also very unknown, like animation. It's not something where I could have certainly claimed Neon Genesis Evangelion. I certainly could have claimed Serial Experiment Slain, but the first one you see kind of was the interest there, and that was the theme I was going with that. In the same way, I chose Blade Runner. Like, Blade Runner opens the door, I think, more in my mind to a slow, methodical, purposeful story instead of what you normally would see in, or what I had normally seen before that, which was fast-paced action movies such as like James Bond movies might have been a good example of that. Like, when you compare the hero or the anti-hero and the detective of Blade Runner versus like James Bond kind of just runs from place to place, and he has other people do his investigations for him, and all he does is run and shoot and sometimes womanize. So yeah, Blade Runner adds a lot of opportunity to expand into more sci-fi, expand into deeper thoughts. What is it that makes you a human or not? Doesn't matter whether or not a character was genetically engineered or not. What is it to enslave your genetically engineered people and limit their lifespans? A lot of themes, I'm sure, in Blade Runner, when I first watched it, I didn't even understand. And then the fourth movie, what was the fourth movie? Yeah, I said Iria, Temple of Doom, Blade Runner. And then the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, a classic for me that certainly expanded my horizons and put me out of my comfort zone. Being a musical, being intentionally macabre and dark, being intentionally sexually aggressive and deviant from the norm. I mean, that's all that the Rocky Horror Picture Show is. So that's my film hashtag film struck for. I kind of feel like I'm slowly making a little bit more content that's exclusive to Twitter, so people probably should follow me on Twitter. I looked at my personal Facebook, like number of personal friends I have, and that has dwindled down once again. So it's like 5 people. The only reason I ever had Facebook was in the first place is because somebody who's not on Facebook anymore encouraged me to be on it, and I'm like, oh, fine, whatever, I'll do it. And now I'm just keeping it as this kind of, oh, what would you call it? It's just like a digital journal. It's just a place where I dump things, mostly stolen meme images and news articles. Very little original content. So yeah, you can still follow my main YouTube channel on Facebook and get the same things I tweet. But I also retweeted the National Video Game Museum's has a rare Game Boy, since Lemon Lover was talking about that so he'll want to check that out on my Facebook. But yeah, if I had more time, had somebody I would hire as just a media accounts manager, there would probably be a bigger push to have more interaction on non-YouTube fronts, but I don't know. I'm really not aiming to make content that is unique and would be appropriate in to use on Twitter. The main thing is Twitter is being sued by Twitch TV to stop it from ever streaming videos. So as soon as it can't do the one thing it probably should do, which is have a streaming video service to compete with Google and YouTube. Anyways, let's start covering the news. That was a lot of setup. Monster Hunter World's next update introduces the Elder Dragon Kelve Teroth for anybody playing Monster Hunter. I wouldn't be surprised if not that many people are playing Monster Hunter, though. Like, it came like a flash in the pan, and I'm sure the people who were importing Monster Hunter before are still playing it and enjoying it. But the people I suspect that were just a little bit interested in seeing what Monster Hunter was probably have moved on since then to something else. We've got a game called Planium, Planum, and it looks awful. It looks like a student project. Came out the 18th. 15% off for 84 cents. Let's close that. The developer of Vampire and Life is Strange is reportedly working on multiple new games, according to PC Gamer. A new report says they've got 1 unannounced games in the oven and 2 more in the works. I don't know what in the oven really means. Yeah. What does that really mean? That was a wasted card. There's also a thought that Dontnod, which is the developer, is going to go for an initial public offering. I saw a different article about that. It seems wrong, certainly, for them to try and speed up and jump ahead. They're growing too fast, too quickly, which is the problem that every single failed video game developer has always had, is growing too fast, too quickly. Let's see. Let's take this, do this. Let's see, do this. Kill this guy. Gain a spell. Take this. Take that. Gain a spell. Let's see. Take that. Give me another spell. Yeah. I really don't see how this is not going to go badly for Dontnod. Particularly when I feel like Dontnod really didn't even do that great of a job with Life is Strange Season 1. I couldn't care less about Life is Strange Before the Storm. And Vampire isn't even out yet, so maybe that'll be interesting, maybe it won't. They were working with Square Enix as the publisher. I wonder if Square Enix as the publisher has given Dontnod some of this false hope information that people have done before, where they say, oh yeah, we're going to totally fund your next game. You should hire a bunch of people and really grow. And then as soon as they do that, you come back to them and they say, no, actually, we've decided to go in a different direction. And now your business is out of business because you can't afford to keep these employees. Or you've bought all of this equipment that you can't afford the lease on. Let's see. This and this and this. Give me a spell. There you go. Eye for an eye. Alright, moving on. Good Old Games is getting user profiles very soon, according to PC Gamer. They've added a new trio of privacy options to prepare for their arrival. So, I have really no interest in Good Old Games right now. I mean, I'm already too invested in Steam. Like, I suppose if I was starting my YouTube channel right now and I didn't have any games whatsoever for PC, maybe I'd think about getting Good Old Games, but I still probably wouldn't choose it because they just won't have as good of a selection as Steam does. PC Gamer has an article, Hearthstone got its fatigue mechanic thanks to Jeff Kaplan. After seeing a dumbstruck Kaplan, Team 5 knew they had to come up with something. Well, I feel like the fatigue mechanic is probably due for a change, but it'd be really hard to do that. Alright. Just play this. And then let's go and do this. And then the turn. Broad explains that Hearthstone God's fatigue mechanic, which deals escalating damage to players each time they draw cards after their deck is empty. As Barona explains, the fatigue damage didn't always exist, and they only come up with it after Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan played Hearthstone for himself. We were doing a playtest. We asked Jeff Kaplan to come over and try the game, and he got really into it and started playing minions and attacking. He was having fun figuring out what cards to play. He had never played it before. He was excited to get into it. He was very close to winning. Then the computer he was playing against passed the turn, and it said, "Your turn. You lose." And he was like, "What?" In earlier versions of Hearthstone that Kaplan played, fatigue damage didn't exist. Instead, when you ran out of cards, you automatically lost, like you do in other card games like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! The problem with this system, which Kaplan's feedback helped Team 5 realize, was that it could make the whole game feel pointless. It didn't matter what decisions he made during the game, he was just going to lose because he ran out of cards. I think the solution, though, should be that if you run out of cards, you take fatigue until your opponent runs out of cards, and then at that point, if both people run out of cards, it's a draw. Like, I think that would be a really cool way to spin it. Both people win at that point, and that makes for an interesting solution, and it adds to the number of wins you might get. But I've said that before. Next story: Gamasutra Twitch reportedly affected by IP bans in Russia. Russian state communication regulators announced it was blocking specific IP address owned by Amazon and Google, which Twitch reportedly being one of the sites affected by the ban. The blanket ban affects Twitch-affiliated streamers, devs, and organizations in Russia who rely on the platform financially. Well, I guess that really sucks for Russian people. I'm not sure how big streamers in Russia are, though. Maybe there was a few of them, maybe there wasn't. Because they don't speak English, they didn't seem like they were showing up too often on Twitch's site for as much as I check Twitch, which is very rarely. I need to get around to start downloading the all my videos and uploading them to Twitch and just seeing what happens. Like right now, that is kind of the answer to everything, is I need to just try things and see what happens. Yeah, here's the Gamasutra article talking about Don't Nod headed toward an IPO. Let's see. They've registered with the French regulator Auditory des Marchés Financiers, or the AMF, and have taken the first steps to going public on the Euronext Growth Stock Exchange. Yeah, and that is growing way too fast. Let's see, we have a game called Raptinment. Came out the 18th. What is this? It looks like it's a pretty ugly atmosphere, like visually. I just need one to hit the face. That's all I needed to do, is have one hit the face, and it didn't do it. Let's see. Come on, give me a spell. Come on, give me a spell. Alright, well, this game Raptinament looks awful. It looks kind of like an early GTA 1 type clone. It says it's an early access RPG Uh, let's see. Oh, it's Raptainment is how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's an extensive simulation around the music business. Manage your own rapper, develop your character, and play in detail to the next big hit. Release successful albums and play sold-out tours. And I'm sure the person who made this game really knows what they're doing. It's $13. Nobody's gonna buy it because it looks ugly. Like, sure, I suppose if you were going to make this type of story and a big AAA company did that, they might be able to tell an interesting story. You probably could even get a real rapper to be the face for the game. But this is a developer who is also the publisher who's put nothing else on Steam. Like, way too ambitious. At the very least, it looks like its original art assets, just poorly designed, too cluttered, not well drawn, not an interesting color palette. I could go on. Let's see. I need one freaking spell. Give me one freaking spell that will do damage directly. Two damage to all. Well, I guess this will work. Oh no, that won't work. Well, I've just lost. Man, if I had gotten that card a long time ago. Yep. So yeah, forget that. Randy Pitchford's Filmstruck 4 were The Big Lebowski, Kiki's Delivery Service, Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail, and the claymation Attack of the Titans movie, I believe. Is that what that one is? The classic claymation movie, which is an eclectic mix. Like, I could certainly see the Big Lebowski attitude in him, and the Monty Python attitude here. I don't know what he really gets from Kiki's Delivery Service or the Attack of the Titans one. If you look at the hashtag Filmstuck hashtag, you'll see a lot of people that don't feel like they are like doing anything really original or being defined by anything very interesting. A lot of the same movies you should come to expect. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article reversing the sunk cost fallacy. Devs recount what shouldn't have been cut. I think probably developers are not. I mean, there's kind of a split there, because there's the developer part of a developer team that is the management, who is looking at the budget, looking at the time, and making those decisions. Project managers, project leads. Those are all still developers. Compared to the split between developers and publishers, where publishers sometimes fund things and publish the games and handle advertisement and stuff like that. And then there are the people who are programming the game, animating the game, doing that. And there's going to be a big chasm between programmers and animators and creative people who want to just always work on things and keep on polishing and keep on adding, to the point where you get something like Darksiders 2 where the game is just way too long for what it should have been. It really should have been like a 15-hour game and turned into a 30-hour game. You could have edited it down so much and improved it so much, in my opinion. So this really isn't an article that I think I really care too much to read. Here's a paragraph that starts, "No cut is harmless." Well, it certainly, I imagine, hurts morale to cut things, but there's also a way to avoid hurting morale too much by not cutting as much as adding. So, like, when you tell people, look, we need to get this done in this week, this is what we're adding, this is what we're working on, that's slightly better way, but a lot of people will still have in the back of their mind this thought that, what about my idea that I talked about that they said they liked? When are we going to add that? When is that going to happen? And then what happens is that the game's ready to ship. It's gone gold. We're not adding any more features. But also, in the development process of games, that is alpha and beta. Like, if you have a alpha phase, that's when you're telling people this is what we're going to add. And then the beta phase is fixing those things and getting it to work. It is possible, I suppose, in the beta phase to try to get a mechanism to work that you had added, but then have to take it out because it's just not playing well. But I really don't agree with developers who are going to argue the games are bad because things were cut. It's like a actor saying the movie was bad because they cut out parts of my scenes. A lot of times that might be the case, but way more often than not, it's the exact opposite. Editors know their jobs usually and make movies better. There, of course, have been some very obvious exceptions to that rule. The argument is that the Suicide Squad movie, for instance, was cut poorly. Probably is true. When things are just totally out of order, or when I believe the Batman vs Superman movie also had an issue of the cut footage being better in the movie than not. He played Cursed. I played Cursed. We'll just curse each other. There's a iOS game that's been announced for Japanese closed beta called Castlevania Grimoire of Souls. It looks like it's a side-scrolling iOS version of a Castlevania game, which I don't know if I really want Castlevania to go that route, but I guess that's kind of how it's gonna be. There's some characters they're talking about, but none of it really matters too much. This is Konami that's doing this, and to quote Jim Sterling, Konami is Konami and Konami is the worst. So it very well may turn into the first indicator that this is the end of Castlevania as a series. But I mean, Castlevania will just do anything with any of their licenses to make any money. Apparently, according to Eurogamer, modders are recreating the classic Halo experience on PC. It's there's a mod called Halo Online that, let's see, what is it for? It's a community-made mod that the canceled free PC game based on Halo 3 Microsoft for the Russian market. So it's a mod, but it's kind of like a mod by itself, so it's not modding something else. It's just a mod of a canceled game, which is an interesting way to go about calling something a mod. We've got a game called Crazy Science Long Run. It has one review, came out the 17th. What is this? This looks animated in some way. It's not just totally dismissible. Is this an endless runner? It says action casual indie 2D sci-fi science as far as the tags. Was the description. No time to explain. Grab your gun and run. Play as a mad genius assistant and learn from bitter experience how hard it is to be a sidekick of main characters in books, movies, and shows of such genre. So this is almost certainly like a Rick and Morty like spoof of some kind of game. It's 25% off for $4.49. It's from a company called Games for Teens, which has some other games: War Criminals, Road Legends, War of Spells, Bomb Labyrinth. The one review is not recommended. Beat it in 17 minutes. Things that never change in the game: the backgrounds, the music, the enemies, the gameplay, the cynicism. Avoid it. So this is one of those games, Crazy Science Long Run. It probably would have caught my attention and made me fall for it if there wasn't somebody else reviewing. Let's see. Interesting. Moving on. There's a game called Nihilumbra, Nihilumbra, coming to the Switch on May 3rd. Help Bourne find himself and escape an inevitable curse. It's gonna sell for $7.99. It first launched for iOS in June 2017, followed by PC. What kind of game is it? Let's see. You change physics with 5 different colors using 5 worlds as your canvas to transform them into your will. Let's see. Unlock a great supplies by completing the game. Replayability assured. Voice acting are the tips. It seems like it's probably one of these. What is this one gonna do? Let's do this then. Spells. And we'll take this. And minions. So Nihilumbra looks like it's kind of a dark platformer with some color manipulation abilities that need to hurry. Man, I could have probably played that too. doesn't look like there's too much to it, but I do want to search it on Steam and see. This is a Gematsu article, so it doesn't have a link directly to PC. Let's see. Let's search it. It's mostly positive. 72% of 11 users since it came out September 25th, 2013, according to Steam. It's rated very positive overall, 89% of 1,832. So people aren't really playing it on Steam today. That is definitely recognizable. Give me another spell to do some damage. We'll just do this. And then we'll just do this. Attack and attack. And in the turn. Alright, moving on. There's a game called Dark Ghost RPG. We don't have to look at it at all because we know it's an asset flip because it's from a developer who is known for only putting asset flip meme games and flooding the internet, flooding Steam. Why this guy has not been caught, I don't know. Let's see. We've got November 2017. He's been doing this. July 2017, August 2017, September 2017. Like there's been several months. Several months. And Steam has not done anything with them. And let's just end the turn. We already talked about EA admitting it got it wrong over Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot boxes. Nobody really believes them. EA has apologized before and not really changed anything. We've got a mixed reviewed 53% out of 15 users game called Rogue Harvest. It came out April 17th. It doesn't look good. It looks kind of like a harvest farming RPG game that may not even be using RPG Maker, and that only makes it look worse. Let's see. See if we can get a negative review. See if I played this and this, that would be cool. But since that's not gonna work, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I can do that instead. This. This guy's complaining because I'm not playing. Take the cheapest guy, I suppose. Let's see. Here's a not recommended. The developer left this game. I paid for it because it was an interesting path, but they moved on. Here's another review. To the developer, as a friend, I hope you remove this store page for this. Your dev career will be hard to return to if there's any history of an abandoned products, even one. You don't need it to completely remove it. Just ask Valve to hide your store page and prevent new purchases. Like, I don't know how it works with Valve, so maybe that's true, maybe that's not. Gematsu has Cosmic Star Heroine for the PS Vita. Launches April 24th in North America. I'm not sure anybody really cares about a Vita game, particularly this one. Looks like it is a badly animated RPG. We are not making much progress here at all. Let's see. We have a game that came out the 17th called Basketball Classics. Looks like a attempt to make something that looked like an old 8-bit NES game with a lot of QuickTime events and mechanics and strategy and RPG things all added together. Like, it is an interesting idea to try to have all those mechanics in the game and then rely on the fact that 8-bit nostalgia might take you a little bit further because you can't animate. But I think you'd be better off just hiring a artist. Let's see. There are 6 positive reviews. There are negative ones, which are a little suspicious. It's 10% off for $8.99, and that's going to be the killer. It's just too expensive. Like, that's what happens every time. It's just too expensive. So we have a poster here retweeted by somebody saying that Dwayne Johnson's Rampage is the best video game movie ever, quote Forbes. I don't know if that was said in joke or if this is an honest assessment. Like, it certainly could be the case, I guess. Like, in the world where nearly every video game movie has been a huge failure, Rampage might be the most successful on several metrics, so to call it best on one of those metrics would make a little bit of sense. Let's see. There's a fandom article, I don't know, fandom's website, that says exclusive Wave Race producer teases series revival for the Switch. So there might be a new Wave Race game that comes on the Switch. I wouldn't really be super surprised if that did happen. Like, you could certainly make it happen easily enough. There's room enough for every console generation to have at least one racing game on the water of some sort. Does it need to really be limited to jet skis, or perhaps you could expand it to other kinds of boats? Let's see. Play this. And let's get spell. And let's take that. Let's see if we get a nice spell. And take that. And attack. There's a game on Steam called Kolb, K-O-L-B, Antarctica Experience. Seems like it's probably a VR game where you're just standing around the snowfield looking at some penguins wandering around. Like, was that a fully, like, just posed other researchers in the area? Like, they don't seem to be walking or moving at all. Let's see. How much is it? Cryo's Virtual Reality, it's free, so I guess you can't complain about the price. It's allegedly rated E for everyone. I imagine it's gonna be pretty boring. It says, using VR to deliver experimental learning. The main objective is to further facilitate the Department of Education curriculum learning through emerging technologies that students are excited to use. So yeah, strap on your $600 VR machine to your kids so they can look at some penguins. I think this may be the first time I've ever attacked with a Witchwood Imp. PC Gamer has an article, everything in the side-scroller shooter Heckpoint can be destroyed, especially you. It looks a lot like a Terraria ripoff, this game. And this is a PC Gamer article, so it's probably just a hype train advertisement for this game instead of an actual news reporting. I'm scrolling through it here, trying to see if there's... It recently launched on Steam for $10. It's rated 100% by 12 users. It came out April 9th. So... But... yeah, it does seem like it has the Terraria style of area destruction with just a slightly different setup of what you're doing with it. You're shooting people, it seems, or shooting the area. Kind of maybe a little bit like Nidhogg. So there's really nothing there that even interests me. Let's see, AMD fires back at NVIDIA over GeForce affiliate controversy with new Radeon brands. And it's like freedom of choice. This is a PC Gamer article, so still wouldn't really buy an AMD. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article. Fortnite's guided missile is going away for a while. Epic says concerns about the missile's fairness and strength have led them to temporarily remove it. Which, that seems legitimate as a complaint. And that article caused me to become a liar in my clickbait title. But we'll move on from that. Let's see, there's a game called Nico Atsumi, ATSUME VR for PlayStation 4 that launches May 31st in Japan. Interestingly enough, it seems like it's a cat-based VR game, and it's not with realistic graphics. It's flat pencil graphics, cartoon style cats. And so you can place snacks and playthings, wait for cats to visit, sustain substantial collection features, shots for your cat book. And so it's kind of like a Nintendo Dogs and Cats, except for it's only cats. Let's see, spell this. I kind of would like to see more experiments on non-realistic graphics in VR. PC Gamer has Mansions of Madness is getting a proper video game adaptation. The Lovecraftian dungeon crawler board game is a cult favorite. I do believe I've heard of this game, this board game. So there is some appeal versus playing just a random board game on Steam. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but this might work. Let's see. They're saying the new Mansions of Madness seems to be a single player controlling several characters. And they've got a Steam page, so I'll wishlist this and keep an eye out of it. It's called Mansions of Madness Mother's Embrace. It looks decently animated. It's a 3D environment where you're walking characters around. You have apparently some ways to switch between characters pretty instantly. Looks like you might have some inventory items and maybe 3 or 4 different actions you can do. It's supposed to be available Q1 2019, so I really don't have to think about it for a couple of years, which that's ridiculous. Certainly. Give me a spell. Let's see. There's a game called 7 Days Anata to Sugosu Nanokakan. It's coming to the PS Vita on July 5th in Japan. Looks like it might be a visual novel game where you're playing as a priestess hunting ghosts, or maybe falling in love with the ghosts. It's not coming to PC, and I just have this one screenshot, so Gamatsu is really not giving me a lot to work with. PC Gamer has a article, here's why I started collecting old PC games in big cardboard boxes, and they have a picture of the Blade Runner game, which I don't believe you can get anywhere. Tomb Raider original and Grand Theft Auto original. I certainly remember getting a few games in those giant boxes that games used to come in. Now they don't come in any boxes at all, or if they do come in a box, it's an extremely small one. Like, all I want here is just one victory. We're gonna go into like a silent post show, I think, today. Yeah, I just want to finish enough of this news out. There's a game called Class of Heroes, not Clash, Anniversary Edition. It's been announced for the Switch in Japan on April 26th. It, again, looks like it might be an RPG, JRPG game. Let's see. It says win 10 races, 2 genders, 3 alignments, 15 mages. There are over 500 character possibles. Over 75 maps packed with puzzles, traps, treasures for over 80 hours of dungeon crawling. So it's a dungeon crawler. Yeah, most dungeon crawlers don't hit a level of quality that they ever come to the West. Here's a game called Havoc in Heaven. Is this in English to start off with? Yes, English and simplified Chinese. Like, I could tell you with a name like that, immediately it's going to be some kind of Chinese company based game. What kind of game is this? It says action simulation strategy. Then Havoc in Heaven is a defense strategy game with the theme of the novel Journey to the West. Isn't it always? And the diverse characters in the classic Journey to the West to show you the offbeat style game. Expecting the most. It's a VR game too for $3.99, and frankly I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it to play. Let's see. Gonna have to do this and do this and let's take that and then end the turn. Let's see, do we need to watch this trailer? I don't think we really do. Mary Skelter 2, a game we've already talked about, kind of a dungeon RPG game. Has a 9-minute trailer, so with a name like Mary Skelter, I'd be a little bit interested to see some gameplay. It seems pretty boring looking, like most dungeon crawler games are, so let's close that. Already talked about that tab. There's a game that came out on the 17th with no reviews called Baptize Billy. It's from a developer who's made nothing else. It's 20% off for 79 cents. And the reason why nobody's bought it is because it is a very, very far zoomed out, ugly color palette game. It's probably trying to do something like The Binding of Isaac, but it's just total garbage. It says it's an arcade style shoot 'em up that'll leave your butt busted and your mind disgusted. Like, yeah, garbage game. Like, and see, I don't know if that really falls into the fake game category or if that just falls into the poor quality game category, and does it really matter? Let's see, stealth until the next turn. Let's go Wind Fury, and then stealth till next turn. Alright, now give me a minion. And we'll take this, and we'll do this, and then we'll do this. There's a game called Project Aura, A-U-R-A. It's a micromanagement game where you lead a colony. It's rated mixed at 62% of 24 user reviews being positive. Let's see what it looks like. It doesn't look too bad, actually. It looks like City Skylines, except for colony things. But I guess there's a lot of room for good mechanisms and good interfaces that I wouldn't really be able to tell in screenshots. Frankly, I didn't like the interfaces in City Skylines. It's $19.99. Let's see what the negative reviews have to say for it. And like, why do the fans who bought the game play it? Let's see. First, not recommended review. I played this game for half an hour and spent over 45 minutes trying to stop the constant barrage of pop-up errors. The suggested fixes have not worked. It has a lot of promise, but it does not fit the purpose right now. I've requested a refund and it's going back on my wish list for 6 months or so. Give me a spell so I can kill this guy and silence him. Do this. Do this. Give me another spell. There we go. This. And then this. And then this. And then in the turn. Next, not recommended, said game still needs a lot of balance, and then it goes on for a very long paragraph explaining more problems with the game, so I can certainly see why nobody would want to play that. Next game we have on Steam is called Legend of Long Night. It's like, says it harkens back to the online real-time strategy games. The game features current popular game trends and adds a survival mode. So this, it looks kind of like a Dota style game. It's a little bit more zoomed in than you would play in a modern Dota game. Like, and it's early access massively multiplayer. Says it has single player too. 40% off for $2.99. This is just not a game that would ever have any support. So there's only one negative review coming up, and it's not even in English. So yeah, like, the developer has only one game on Steam, and they're gonna try to make a massively multiplayer game. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I should have attacked this one. That would have made a lot more sense. Give me a spell. Let's see, the 1920s mech RTS Iron Harvest has reached its Kickstarter goal, according to Rock Paper Shotgun. Let's see. I want to watch this video and see if a 1920s mech game is anything that would interest me. No, it probably doesn't. It's looks like a top-down real-time strategy, and I only really have enough energy in my life probably to play Command and Conquer if I was going to do something like that, not a new game. So, and getting its Kickstarter goal does not mean it's a success by any means. Oh, we've got some people in the chat. Lemon Lover came on. He put out a lemon. My friend wants to play you on Hearthstone. His Battle.net username is Inkja number whatever. Have him send me a friend request. I really am not gonna bother to type in other people's friend codes. Like the information is down below in the description in 2 different places, so he can send me a Battle.net one if he wants to. But I am trying to kind of rush into a post show, so I'm not even really going to be talking. So take that for whatever that means too. Deal 2 damage. There we go. Lemon Lover said got it. Yeah. Let's see. Your Gamer has an article. There's a NBA Playgrounds sequel coming later this year. Let's see. Let's see if we get any good pack. Nope. Could still use a decent amount of epics and legendaries for my regular classic cards. Like only 3 of those were extra, and then 2 of those are new. So getting a second one of those, that'll certainly help. I probably should play with hsreplay.net again, since I'm trying to upload things and because of my ear hurting, and so I can't really record as much because of all of that on top of each other. Like messing with decks and doing some deck rebuilds just by myself isn't a terrible idea. So I have to reload Blizzard because the Battle.net app was not, it was crashing before, and I don't know why. It doesn't seem like it's working right now too well. Yes, so Your Gamer has a story. There's an NBA Playground sequel coming, which I'm cool with that. Like, arcade style basketball would be the style of basketball I'd want to play. There's really not too much to say here other than Susan Wojcicki put out a blog post and didn't bother to email it to YouTubers talking about their updated priorities. This is probably the first major statement she's made since the YouTube shooting. Number 1 on the topics is transparency and communication. Number 2 is supporting your success, whatever that means. And number 3 is giving people more ways to engage. And then number 4 is tightening and enforcing our policies. And number 5 is learning and education. And depending on your bias, you could probably read her blog one way or the other. I take it one way, that this is probably going to be a example of them using the YouTube shooting as just a excuse to screw over more YouTube channels more than anything else. Let's see, the Hearthstone app crashed, so we might have to just end it here today. I mean, if I can't get back into the Blizzard app. Let's see. There's a game on Gematsu called First Job Survival Horror, coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And it has a Steam page, so that is interesting. Like a survival horror game called Yuppie Psycho, and you're in kind of this horrific environment, kind of like a Silent Hill with 8-bit graphics in your workplace. Well, that seems crazy enough to catch my attention, certainly. Darkest Dungeon is 66% off on Steam. Remember, there's some DLC that you'll end up having to buy if you like the game. So, if you were going to buy the entire Ancestral Edition bundle, that's 59% off for $20.30. Let's see. A game called Solar Wind that came out April 12th is out. It looks like a school project, so we'll close that. And it does seem like I'm gonna maybe not even be able to play Hearthstone for the rest of the day. Like Battle.net is not launching. And because it's not launching, let's see. We'll turn off my firewall. Just do something really crazy and try and launch it again and see if it works. And it did. So this has something to do with the firewall. Apparently the Battle.net updater app has been blocked. There is this advertisement on the Battle.net launcher that is log in now and get 3 packs, but since I've already done that, the advertisement hasn't gone away. So it really feels like false advertising for me to feel like I'm gonna log in and get 3 new packs, and I really don't get it. Let's see, what do we want to trade here? Specifically warrior cards or 6 combo cards? Which would be harder to do? Yeah, let's get rid of the combo cards. And see, we're back to playing now 30 warlock class cards or warrior cards. Oh, I probably should have gotten rid of win 2 games with warrior. That would have been a lot smarter. Warrior play. I have another game on Steam called Star Swapper. Came out April 17th. It kind of as a concept is a little bit intriguing that you would be playing some kind of astrological game and trying to make constellations or something, but honestly it looks like it's just a not detangler game, and the way it looks in the main menu is not really what the main game looks like. So yeah, it's not a not detangler as much as it is just a puzzle game where you get a constellation and you're trying to move and slide tiles around. So not only does it look like it would be an incredibly easy puzzle game, it looks like it's boring. 20% off for $3.99. I could see when nobody's gonna buy that. Let's see. Here's a game that's all in Russian in the name, and then it's /Game of the Forgotten Gods Wake Up. And looking at it, it does not look good. You know what it is? It's a bunch of asset flips just done at such a poor quality that it's hard to even recognize this fake game as an asset flip game, because most asset flip games now at least have enough quality in them that you would have an idea, you'd understand that, oh yeah, that's a fake game. But this one is so ugly. It has me scratching my head a little bit. Well, nothing more needed to say there. No reviews, clearly. 15% off for $5.94. Kotaku had an article that somebody retweeted. Game collector finds drugs hidden inside NES cartridge. And it's showing a picture of an NES cartridge that looks like it was damaged at some point, maybe in opening it, or maybe not. And it's full of foil lined packs that one assumes is drugs. It's not actually showing drugs, so for all you know, this could be just some other scam going on, but he certainly didn't get his classic NES controller. Let's see what the article actually says. Four shiny plastic bags. And they don't even know what kind of drugs it is, so... So, apparently it was a copy of Golf. So, somebody is buying copies of NES Golf and stuffing them with drugs. Interesting. And money. There is another story of money being stuffed in it. Let's see, I guess we could do this, but we don't really need to. Let's do that. BioWare is temporarily shutting down its store at the end of April because they're parting ways with their current store partner who is selling their kitsch and stuff like that. So they're gonna get a new store partner, one would assume, but there might be a bit of delay there. So if you wanted to buy any BioWare collectible garbage, let's just keep on drawing. Let's see. Guess I need a spell. There's a game on Steam called Hex Gambit, came out the 17th. It looks nicely animated, but I'm not sure it's actually an interesting game. It says it's early access indie strategy tactical. That was 2 user reviews. Apparently it's also coming out this summer on Switch. Multiplayer only, so that solves that. 10% off for $11.69. Let's see what the reviews are. Like 4 positive reviews, which is a little fishy. We have another game on Steam called Try to Seize Me. No reviews. Let's see what kind of game this is. Play with your friends. Cops and robbers would take each other out. The game is focused on playing with friends. Robbers use traps to take out the cops, while the cops use their trusty batons. So not much of a game here. It's probably built off the back of a Valve property. 10% off for $4.49 for Try to Seize Me. No reviews. I don't see anybody buying or playing this game. It doesn't look good. It looks like an asset flip. It looks like this is Counter-Strike Go skins, or, you know, Source skins, whatever those are that everybody uses and can use. Lemon Lover, well, you're on there. Did you hear about the retweet I did on Twitter of the very rare Game Boy that is a Game Boy Light? If you want to see that, go to my Twitter, since you were talking about Game Boys and how you love them. Should be within the first 7 tweets that I've tweeted. Let's see, Google Play is under investigation by the South Korea's FTC over market abuse. I don't think there's really too much more that needs to be said about that, honestly. Like, we'll see if they are how things go. Let's see. Shield slam. There you go. Come on. Come on. It's taking me too long to play. Apparently the FTC, South Korea FTC, is asking whether Google asked people to launch their games only through the Google Marketplace or to not launch games via any other marketplace. So we'll see if Google actually did that or if anybody's going to complain about it. Let's see. The musical adventure game Figment is coming to the Switch May 31st, PS4 and Xbox One later. I believe Figment is already on Steam. Yeah, it came out September of 2017. It's rated very positive, 92% of 96 reviews. So that would be a good one for me to play and try to get out as people are potentially playing it on new platforms. Like, those are the type of games that I typically would like to get finished and played earlier, compared to just some retrospective games that nobody's really thinking about or interested in. Let's try it. Let's take this and do this. Oh, I should have done actually this so it was damaged. Oh well. There's a game on Steam called Dr. Pills. It looks like Dr. Mario. And I can't really object too much about making a Dr. Mario game. There is a slight difference here in that the play field looks like a stomach. So it's not just a square play field where pills come down and you can move them around. There's 5 user reviews. It's 40% off for $1.19. Let's see what the negative reviews would be, because there's like none. 5 positive reviews. The graphics aren't that great, and I was never really that big of a fan of Dr. Mario though. So like, when I think of it that way, still 2 damage to everybody. And then do this. And then do this. And see if I win. Oops, ended my turn early. Yeah, I'd have to see Dr. Pills look a little bit better for me to want to get it. Like, playing any kind of Tetris game is going to be a little bit difficult. There's this game called Hero Academy 2 that came out on the 17th. It is the second game from this developer. No discount, $19.99. It looks like Hearthstone, except for there's some lanes and you place the enemies in lanes, but it certainly has a polished and cartoony style, a lot like Hearthstone. But can you trust a company? It's single player and multiplayer, early access. Like, can you really trust a sort of no-name company to make something as good as Hearthstone is right now? think the answer to that is no. Let's end this turn. So, yeah. If Gwent wasn't going to win me, if Fable Fortunes wasn't going to win me, if the Elder Scrolls card game wasn't going to win me, if Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't going to win me, I don't think Hero Academy 2 is going to win me. There's also kind of this weird thing that how can it be Hero Academy 2 when they don't even have Hero Academy 1? Like, the publisher is the publisher for Hero Academy 1, which is $4.99 right now, and it's rated mostly positive, 72% of 427 reviewers. But can you really have a sequel? Well, I guess maybe the Hero Academy 1 does look pretty bad, but wow, think about for a second if Hearthstone, instead of just improving things, decided to just make Hearthstone 2. Yeah, that would be such a sunk cost investment. Let's see. The publisher that makes Hero Academy 1 and 2, or that publishes them, also publishes Orcs Must Die, which is an interesting overlap. GTA Online gets an Italian job-inspired police chase mode, complete with knockoff Mini Coopers. If anybody's playing GTA Online. And here we have an adventure indie visual novel called Re-Angel, rated positive, 93 out of 16 user reviews, came out the 17th. What do we have here that would potentially interest me? Not too much. The animation style looks decent, but maybe just ever so slightly one step below your standard expected professional level. So yeah. Give me a spell. Give me another spell. English language not supported. Okay, well, Re-Angel then 15% off for $13.59 would have been too expensive anyways, but if it has no English language, I could just close that. I wish the English language not supported warning came up higher on the Steam page, so I don't have to scroll down. Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch has been delayed to summer. PS4, Xbox One, and PC version still launching May 25th. Not super surprising that something like that would happen. It's probably a lot more difficult to make a Switch version of a game than it is to make any other version of a game right now. Let's see. Give me another spell. There's a game called Guard of Wonderland VR by Wonder Games. Have they done anything else? No. It's $10.49. Let's see what it looks like. See, the American McGee, creator of Alice Madness Returns and Alice, the original game, wants the license to do a third game. I don't see a reason why he even needs to license the Alice series when he could probably make a similar story not based on Alice in Wonderland and just have characters that have the same attitude and feeling. He seems a little too obsessed about it, as are the fans of the Alice series. Like, I'm trying to figure out what this is. The Alice of Alice in Wonderland here does look a lot like the Alice, but I don't understand the VR element here, because this seems like this is mostly some kind of, it's a visual novel in VR with a female protagonist. Like, this doesn't make a lot of sense at all. Let's see, 30% off for $10.49. Do we have any reviews of this? Let's see, recommended. 4 positive reviews, which is a little suspicious. See, I might be interested in playing Guard of Wonderland VR if it wasn't a VR game, because then that would open up the potential to learning something new about how can you play a visual novel in VR, because we've seen how the Japanese have tried to do it, and they've just turned it into very short dating relationship simulators, and that's kind of all they've done with it. And they really haven't had to have entire lines of dialogue written, and I don't believe in this case they're doing lines of dialogue either. You're still having to read off the screen. You're just wearing a headset to read it, which is crazy. Gematsu has a article, Fate Extella Link Carlemagne, CHARLEMAGNE, has a short gameplay video. Let's watch this and see what this is. Like, what kind of dungeon crawler JRPG is this? There's a bunch of screenshots first. This seems like this is part of the Fate series. Oh, it is part of the Fate series. Yeah, I forgot the name of the game I was looking at. I'm like, wait a minute, this seems like the characters from the Fate anime series, and I'm like, look back up, it's like, oh yeah, that is part of the Fate anime series. So, like, after scrolling down about 20 screenshots. Yeah, it's a JRPG. It looks flash. It's 3D, fancy, interesting. Really don't need that. And because of that, we can now go to a humble store. And we're approaching the end of this stream. We'll go into a post-show. Apologies for being pretty abrupt and just really making one long episode. Let's see. The Humble Strategy Bundle has got 5 days left. The Humble Software Bundle has 6 days left. Let's go back to Twitter now and see what we've got on Twitter. Lemon Lover said, I've heard about a Game Boy Light, very rare. I'm gonna go check that out. Yep, I figured you'd be interested in it, Lemon Lover. Let's see. They got a new game advertised by Steam, and there definitely seems to be some special reasons why Steam will advertise a game versus like it kind of not getting advertised by anybody at all, or just what's on Steam advertising it on their Twitter stream. Let's take that. Let's see. There's a PC Gamer has an article, Muffled Warfare is a multiplayer first-person shooter where everyone is blind. It seems more like an echolocation type game. Give me a spell. Execute. I'll take that. Yeah, they've updated their same article on PC Gamer. Russian streamers claim Twitch is now being blocked. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article. Into the Breach, designers explain how to follow up from a hit game. Apparently there's a game called Harm Other that takes the binary moral decisions that rule your gaming life to some very silly places. From Rock, Paper, Shotgun. Scroll down. Fortnite Mobile nabbed $25 million in revenue during its first month. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article how psychological experiments influenced the design of Vault 11 and Fallout New Vegas. I'm sure that's an unimportant article. Gamasutra has an article how to market a game with a minimal budget. Well, I can tell you, don't spend $100 and put it on Steam Direct with no advertising. Honestly, hire an advertising company. Like, have a real push, have a real idea, get a loan, give your game a chance. Give me a spell. And give me another spell, I guess. Probably should take a minion. Yeah, that would have been smarter. Gamasutra has an article, a slightly different way to think about games and art. That'll be interesting to read, so I'll open that. I'll just read that on my own though. It's probably not that interesting. There's an awful looking game called Tactical Chronicle that came out on Steam. I'm not even gonna bother to click on it. Like, it's an RPG Maker type game. PC Gamer has an article. We had a lot of fun playing VR mech combat game Vox Machina, which I bet it's not out anytime soon. Let's play that. Can't recruit a minion because I don't have any minions in the deck. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article. Radical Heights first patch adds bike tricks and much needed quick melee option. See, that's it as far as new news. 2 hours ago, Resident Evil 5 number 10 aired on my channel. Let's see what else aired specifically on my channel. And this will be our last game. And then Strider number 6 came out 3 hours ago on my channel. I really wanted people to get into Strider too and check it out. Very interesting game that to just be a remake of a sort of unknown game and then be its own forgotten remake. The forgotten remake of a forgotten game. Like Bionic Commando is a very similar game. Episode 11 aired 4 hours ago, so great time to catch up on that. This guy still has charge. They still got a couple of people with charge. Let's see. And let's continue scrolling down. Scroll, scroll, scroll. The Asus GTX 1080 Strix is just 580 right now, according to PC Gamer. Like, that's a good deal. That's just slightly above what? Vintage Beef is a YouTuber who seems to have the ear of Team YouTube. They actually respond to him, which may mean something, it may not. It seems like Team YouTube will mostly respond to complaints no matter what, even to the people that they really, really don't want to respond to. Give me a minion. It's kind of unlikely I'd get a spell that would let me do. Let's go ahead and do that. Just trying to play out warrior cards. Although I don't even think I'm supposed to be playing warrior cards. I think I'm supposed to be getting warrior victories. And see, this whole stream I've had my headphones not on my right ear because it was hurting. Well, for most of the stream, after about, let's say 20 minutes, I did that. So I probably potentially sound a little bit different. Maybe, maybe not. Give me something. Take this. PC Gamer has an article. Suspect in massive Iceland Bitcoin heist busts out of jail, escapes to Sweden. That's an interesting story. PC Gamer has an article. This portable graphics box promises full discrete GPU performance for laptops. Don't believe that for a second. You can get Peggle for free on Origin right now if you ever wanted to play Peggle. I covered it. It's a decent enough game to play once through. Probably not something you'd want to play a ton of times through. DNA and Platinum Games announced a samurai action game, World of Demons, for smartphones. That'll be interesting. We'll talk about that on Friday. Ubisoft Montreal has a lead system designer job. Let's see this. Give me a spell. Should have done that first. I'm gonna lose. Yet again. Yep, I am gonna lose. Let's see, City Bus Simulator 2018. We'll look at that Friday. PC Gamer has a article, Minecraft console commands and cheats every player should know. I probably know most of them, if not all of them. And see, this is weird because I'm scrolling down past the point where I thought I'd seen all the news on Twitter, and Twitter just freaking recreates your feed. It seems like sometimes things are there that you just that weren't there before. And that's not great. Apparently Platinum Games is making what looks like the spiritual successor to Okami. Is that the World of Demons cell phone game, or is that something different? We'll have to find out Friday. I'm teasing now. New troll game, fake game called Russian Eye Horror, AYE Horror. And let's see. PC Gamer has an article, how authentic is PC building simulator really? I'll read that for my own interest. Probably not very authentic. It's another game for Friday. Like, all of this stuff was just not here. It totally was not here when I started streaming 2 hours ago. Salt and Sanctuary is 60% off. This would be a great time for somebody to gift me Salt and Sanctuary. That is a 2D Dark Souls-esque game that I'd like to play. 60% off. I'm going to really press people to try and get them to gift more games to me when the next Steam sale happens. Let's see. I'm mostly just opening games we'll talk about on Friday. Apparently Eurogamer has some concept art for the canceled Time Splitters 4. If you want to search that. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do when my Twitter feed, my source for games, decides not to show me any of my feed? I'm just scrolling down more and more and finding more and more content. Scroll. What did we not? We didn't even get to the Americas account. I still need to play, like, get 2 victories and play a bunch of Warlock cards and get the Tavern Brawl done. There's gonna be so much work to do. It'll probably be late into the night, which is fine. Now, I guess... Oh, yeah, I guess I really shouldn't do a post-show today. Sorry. Like, today is the best day ever to not do a post-show, so... Yeah, I don't think I am, because I have a ton of videos I need to upload. And I need that bandwidth that I'm uploading this stream on right now to see that that actually works and happens. YouTube's been messing up and just kind of freezing at a certain percentage of a video being uploaded, and then I come back hours later, it's still stuck at the exact same percentage and no error, nothing like that. Just it thinks it's still trying to do it and it's not working. Man, I am still scrolling down, and some of these things are like 11 hours ago, and I could have sworn I would have seen them. I think I've hit the point where I know I've seen everything, or if I haven't, it's probably too late. And I just looked at my Twitter feed settings, and it's supposed to be chronological. Ken Levine retweeted the artistic rendering of Bioshock as a 2D fighter, which is an interesting thing. I'll retweet that. That's an interesting image or idea. There was some talk on the Bombcast this week about what the next Bioshock game could possibly be and how well that could really work. Even Twitter says you can't see any more footage, so we are done. Well, actually, I guess not quite yet, because 4 new tweets happened in the time I was scrolling down the Twitter. And that's with a very curated Twitter feed. Okay, we've been going for an hour and 17 minutes. No post show, apologies, but we'll just I need that bandwidth. I need to upload footage, and I'm gonna just play off screen to get all the daily quests done. Let's see, we didn't even, like, we'll try and see if we can load into the Americas account real quickly, and see what the daily quests are. But yeah, both computer wise and bandwidth internet wise and physically wise, with my ear just being in pain, like I'm not doing too well today, so this would definitely be the right time. Let's see, this guy wanted to play me, so we'll play him off screen too. That's gonna be it for this stream. Apologies for it being 1 episode long. Apologies for it probably not being that interesting or energetic, and apologies for no post show. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, please click the notification bell, even if you don't think you need to. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.